Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Eduard, and we have it as a Profipack edition in 1/72 scale. So as you can see, it copies BF 109F-4, and some of you might remember we just recently checked the limited edition with the same type of the aircraft. It was the initial release, and now we have, let's say, the solo pack. So this is only one kit which copies only F4 version, and it might be attractive for some others who don't need two models, or they don't want to invest into limited edition, or maybe they just were not able to get it. So now you can choose the Profipack and you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. This is the final shape of this release, and it's so-called commercial sample. And as you can see, the box size, I would say, is typical for such type of the kit from Eduard. So it's a thin box, but it's quite wide, and here you can see comparison with my hand. And box art is really nice here, so I think maybe it will be released also as a poster, so definitely check out the official Eduard website. By the way, here you can see the kit number is 7155, and you can also see some info about the manufacturer here, while the 5 or actually 6 marking options can be found here on the opposite side. As you can see, these are simple profiles, but obviously we will get the detailed marking guides in the assembly manual. So this is the top opening box, and we have inside all frames packed into plastic bags. Gray plastic sprues are packed into one resealable bag, and clear frame is packed into a Ziploc bag. So I'm going to open them right now. Just give me a moment. First, we can start with the clear frame. So here I will print the sticker a bit just to remind you that we are on the SV channel. And here you can see the clear frame. So we have the canopy parts. We also have some parts for the cockpit because of this famous fuel line which goes through the cockpit wall. And you can open the cockpit with these parts, which is quite a great feature for 1/72 scale kit. And because this is a Profipack, we should get the pre-cut masks. So basically you have all necessary things covered out of the box, and you can focus on the assembly and actual painting process. Next, I'm opening the plastic bag with gray sprues. So just give me a moment. There is actually a separate plastic bag with a propeller, as you can see, so I will open it as well in a second, and we will take a closer look at all those parts. And do you remember we had the same separate sprue for the propeller in the limited edition kit? So this is the propeller for the F4 version, as it's written here. It's for the prop, as far as you can see, for the late version. And as you can see, it is molded as a single piece part. We have attachment points right in the center of this part, so you shouldn't be worried about accidentally damaging it or, let's say, cutting extra bit during this separation. And as for the big sprues, we have only 2 here, so maybe we will not be zooming out at the moment, because this way we can check each of the corners, maybe this way. So here you can see the one-piece cockpit floor, also some parts for the main wheel wells and the propeller. Next we continue with the landing gear legs and also some pylons or gondolas for the machine guns, underwing ones, but obviously it will depend on the marking option you will choose, because you cannot install them just on any aircraft. Here we continue with the landing gear doors. Also we have the fuel tanks, and we have some wing mechanization here. The air intake is here, which is glued out of 2 halves, and some of you said in the previous review that they should be actually glued out of 2 halves because it's just like that on the real subject. And here you can see also the exhaust stacks and the air intake panels, as well as some minor landing gear parts for the tail landing gear. But overall, you can notice that for a 1/72 scale, we have a lot of features out of the box. Some parts are really tiny, that's why I'm reminding about the scale. So even though everything might look normal on the zoomed in version, you should also remember the real size, which you can see here in comparison with my hand. These are actually quite tiny parts, and this makes all these things even more impressive. Next, we have the last gray plastic sprue here. So this one, as you remember from the previous video, this one is dedicated to the fuselage halves and also to the wing parts. Note that we have two versions of the lower wing section. I guess it will depend on the marking you will pick. Here we also have two types of the main landing gear wheel wells, and also we have several types of the landing gear wheels, which can be actually replaced with the brass set, because obviously Eduard produces such upgrades, so in case you are not satisfied with plastic, you can go with the resin, which can be bought separately. So here you can see external features on the wing parts, and the same applies to the top wing. So we have recessed panel lines and rivets. They look great for this scale, and here you can see also the fuselage halves, which are molded without the tail fin, by the way. But we have this top cowling section, so you have to be careful in this area. And if I flip it over here, we have some minor cockpit features, but obviously more will be added with help of PE parts and separate plastic parts, because as you remember, we had some parts molded on the previous sprues. So just to show you what will actually go into the cockpit and external surfaces, we have here two PE threads, which is rather unusual for a Profipack. So I will zoom in and show you the first one. This is the pre-painted PE thread, as you can see, and this is a typical Eduard product, so quality looks great. And the only thing which might be tricky is the size of these parts, because it's 1/72nd scale, again, I will remind you. And next, sorry, we have also here the unpainted parts. If camera will focus, you will see that we also have the parts for the cockpit. There's, for example, rudder pedals here. They will require some bending, so be sure to have the sharp tweezers, because otherwise it's nearly impossible. And I know some modders who try to do it with bare fingers, but it's just the waste of time. With the right tools, it's much faster and easier, of course. Next, another plastic bag is dedicated to pre-cut masks. Here we have masks for the landing gear wheels and also for the canopy. And I think in BF109 masks are always useful because of the canopy design. Of course, those squares are easy to cut, but it's much better to have the pre-cut stickers which are ready to be used out of the box. And next we have two decal sheets which are packed into a separate plastic bag. So I will open them right now. Of course, both are printed in Eduard, so you can guess that printing quality will be good. And here we have, let's say, the main one, because here we have all necessary symbols for 6 marking options. We also have some cockpit decals, but it's mainly the instrument panel, so in case you want the seat belts on your model, you have to go with PE parts. But again, we have here even famous Grünherz, so everything is included, even swastika is here, which should be assembled or let's say applied out of 2 sections. Next, we have the stencils. So for the stencils, we have them printed like that. As you can see, there are 2 types, black and red ones, and if I bring them closer, those writings are actually readable. So in 1/72nd scale, it should look quite impressive, even though such tiny symbols will take some time. It's definitely not something what you can do in 10 minutes. Next, we continue with assembly manual. So here we have the large brochure, so that's why I will have to zoom out a bit. And as you can see on the first page, we have the short history note. Next, we continue with the parts map. So this blue color means that these parts will not be used, and assembly process starts with the cockpit. Note that straight on the first page or on the first step, you have to use the PE parts, at least you're, let's say, suggested to use, and then it's your choice whether you would like to go this way, because some parts will be really tiny in case of the cockpit. And next we continue with cockpit walls, then we join the fuselage together, and note that cockpit floor is being inserted after the fuselage halves are joined together. Next we also have a choice for the tropical version, and then we assemble the wing, we join it with the fuselage, we install all the wing mechanization. And as you can see, flaps are separate here, the front slats are also, and ailerons are also separate, which is quite cool for 1/72nd scale. And here we continue with the landing gear, so it is offered only in the retracted position, so you cannot depict it in the closed position. I guess it will require some modifications. Next, we continue with the canopy. Canopy can be assembled in open or closed position. And then we also have some assembly options for the canopy, so pay attention to which marking you will pick. And here we have the final steps, so under fuselage attachment of the bomb and also masks application guide for the landing gear wheels and for the canopy. Next, you can see two marking options. So this is from June 1942 and another one from October 1941. Next, two more. This PEM was Grünherz, and as you can see, March 1942, another one June 1942. Next, we have two more, June 1942 and September 1942. And then we have the stencils guide. So this is the space for your notes, and here we have the full list of the possible accessories which you can use with this kit. So as you can see, quite a list, and definitely you'll find something suitable for your build, because well, these things will be noticeable even on the 1/72nd scale aircraft, so that's why it's worth checking them out. As for the whole kit, it should be already available. You can get it on official Eduard website. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion here in the comment section below. And if you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.